that I've been walking around with. And according to studies, even if you walk around with just an extra 5 pounds on your belly, just that extra 5 pounds, the amount of extra stress it puts on your heart, will stop you.
It's week 7 of the 2023
on your heart. Will stop you.
He had a great week last week. Well over 100 on the ground with a score. It's the Ravens and the Bengals next on EA Sports.
From getting to be bitched at by your wife for another 8 years. You know, you'll miss all of that. You'll miss your shuffling years. I like how people think if they're hastening their death, they're going to miss their shuffling years. It's like only if you drop dead. Only if you're lucky enough to drop dead. Underrated, dropping dead. No suffering for you, just for everyone around you. All right? And then I guess the nicer death to fucking go through a disease and then everybody gets to say goodbye. Is dropping dead the Irish goodbye of the ultimate Irish goodbye? Sorry, I am in a fucking, I don't know. It's been raining the last couple of days. And then last night I was down the Comedy Store doing the great Josh Adam Myers show, the goddamn Comedy Jam. And I told him like a month ago, I told him I would do the show and I forgot I said that. And then he was like, he hits me up, he's like, yeah, what song do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do anymore from my fucking metal 80s days. Let's get into the 90s. I go, you want to play a Nirvana song? And he goes, all right. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, that always kills. And then like 3-4 days before the jam, he goes, dude, if we did Black Hole Sun right before Smells Like Teen Spirit, that would fucking kill. And I'm thinking like, yeah, it absolutely would, but that's not an easy song. I'm a father of 2. I'm a fucking guitar-centered dad drummer. I can't put that shit together, right? I got all into my feels. I got all in. I started catastrophizing, and I was just like, all right, fuck it, I'll figure it out. We winged it. Bit of a train wreck in the end, but the part in the middle that's in 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, in my life, whatever the words are, indisposed. I'm always like so locked into listening to whatever the band is doing. I never really listen to the lyrics until it gets to the chorus, you know? Except for Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Fucking
and I had to
suck.
those. But all the other songs. So, we did that song, and then we did Smell Like Teen Spirit. It was so much fun. I must have made like fucking 20 mistakes in both songs. Smells Like Teen Spirit, of course, Dave Grohl. Not an easy fucking song. You think it's easy. It just does all this weird shit. And he goes, Jacko. He does like a flam on his snare and on the floor tom, but in between both, he goes over and hits the hi-hat. You know, because why make it easy? You know what it is he's repeating a theme that he created in the beginning of the song. Huh? Who's watched a couple of drum videos? I have. Do I know what creating a theme means? No. It means, I remember you did something like that earlier. That's what it means. And then it makes people in the crowd like me go, yay! Right? And then you buy the single. I'll tell you, I had mixed emotions doing, not Soundgarden, more Nirvana. I had mixed emotions because that band, I've always had like a love-hate thing where obviously it's fantastic music, but I hated that band because I've said this a million, that band ended my youth. All right? I turned 23. There's no more fun birthdays after that, right? You gotta wait till somebody said last night you get to rent a car at like 25. But come on, I mean, that doesn't compare to, you know, getting able to vote. No. Being able to drink legally. Going to a titty bar and participate in human trafficking. Right? Well, now I'm supposed to get excited because I can rent a fucking Ford Festiva? Did they call it the Festiva because they moved their plant to Mexico? Is Festiva a Latin word? Is it a Mediterranean, is it a love language word? Is it just something some guy in a suit came up with in Pontiac, Michigan? I don't know.
What
anyway,
the
I was
fuck,
23 years
dude?
old. So basically my youth was over. Like the next exciting thing that happens to you on a birthday is when you turn 50 and you get an AARP card. And you walk into the movies and they go, oh, that'll be $92.50, and you were like, not so fast, youngster. And they go, we're sorry, it'll be $89.95. You know, I've never used that fucking thing. I tried using it at the movies one time. I mean, I think it's so great that when you get old, they give you a discount on stuff. They know. It's like, all right, this guy needs, this guy needs to be cut a break. He's old. He knows he's gonna fucking, kick the bucket soon. Let's hook him up with that, little discount on the new George.
Leave your fucking mask.
Andy runs on. There's a board. They don't like each other, right? You go in there, you rent this thing, whatever a movie ticket costs,
Sometimes you over game plan.
I get that in touch, Bill? No, I can use my credit card. I don't pay attention. I literally just give the thing to them, and then they give me what I wanted to buy back. And then, they're like, do you want a receipt? And I always say, no, I don't. They go, okay. Then I walk away, and I have no idea how much things cost. Like, remember when George Herbert Walker was running for president, and they asked him how much a dozen eggs cost, and he didn't know, and they got all over it. What he should have said is, oh yeah, what's the bank angle you want to be at when you're trying to get a Jap Zero off your fucking tail so you don't fucking die when you're 18? Let me tell you something, lady. You can buy those eggs because of what I did. Do you know, Chino Airport out here has an aviation museum, and they have the only, I think, only in captivity, Japanese Zero, like all, not shot up or anything like that over here. And the only one that we have, I gotta go check that out. I mean, that's legendary. I was reading about those dog fights, and the Japanese Zero was way lighter and way faster. Ours was heavier and slower, but you were much more protected. Where I feel like the Japanese pilots were in like a race car. Where I don't know if you ever got an opportunity to walk up to a race car. It looks like the biggest piece of shit you've ever seen in your life. It's literally an engine, a roll cage, and a seat. That's it. Steering wheel. And then they just put it's like kind of particle board for the body of the car. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? I was talking about Nirvana. I was talking about World War II aviation, which I know nothing about. I read the pilot. I know the stories of pilots. I didn't talk about the aircraft. So anyway, yeah, I was turned 23 and that album came out. Fucking overnight, MTV and everybody was just like, this is the new fucking sound. And I've never seen anything like that in my life. As far as just overnight, it was like, this shit's over and this shit is in now. Because I even feel like once grunge died down, grunge didn't really have a long run at all. It was kind of like from fucking 91 to about 95, 96 maybe. And then Eminem and all those guys came in, right? And then I want it that way. Tell me why I don't think it's a heartache. Whatever, the boy band came in. And overlapping all of that. Tang, Biggie, Tupac, right? Julio. I remember some stuff. I was doing so many stand-up stuff that whole decade is blurred. But I never see such an abrupt, like, literally just fucking cut the head off the snake. Heavy metal is done. This shit is in. Overnight. People that were going to the MTV and Music Awards for 10 years in a row did not get an invite. Then there was that one sort of like caught in the middle thing, which would be the Skid Row. Great album. The Slave to the Grind album. The follow-up to the debut album. Am I hosting a show on fucking Sirius XM right now? I feel like I am. That is a great album. I feel like it got lost in the fucking shuffle of all that music coming out. So it took me a good 4 years to finally admit that Nirvana was a really fucking great band and that I loved their music. So anyway, last night at the Goddamn Comedy Jam, we did both of those songs. And, you know, like I said, I fucked up a bunch of times, but I had a good time. I finally got over the whole, like, I have to do this exactly the way that I gotta go watch people do drum covers and all that. So it's just like, you know, fuck this. All right, let me just do my version of it, and I'll just have a good time. And it was fun. I wasn't nervous at all. I don't get nervous playing drums in front of people anymore, which is pretty cool. I remember back in the day, I would get so nervous, I felt like I couldn't even feel my legs. And I was just trying to get through it. And I'd be thinking like towards, oh my God, it's almost over. These things, okay, it's over. All right, it's over. I did it. No, but I forgot to enjoy it. Anyway, and then I was sort of fighting off a depression when I was down at the Comedy Store, which has happened to me lately. Just, you want to talk about like a fucking, a change. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this fucking segue here. Like from hair metal to I would say pre-pandemic comedy store to post-pandemic comedy store. The amount of people that were there and are now not, they moved away, you know, got canceled or whatever the fuck happened, and I'm down there, and now I think I'm the oldest guy down there now. Like, oh my God. What happened? Where, just out of curiosity, where is everybody? It's kind of what I thought, and then a buddy of mine came in, and I was like, oh God, thank God, a familiar face, and he told me he just closed on a house, you know, like 10 states away, and, you know, because he can't afford a house out here, which I totally understand, and I'm just like, fuck. So that's happening. Just sort of, I don't know, sort of fucking addressed it in my head. I was like, all right, how do you do this? You know what I just started thinking of? I just started thinking about George Carlin. Because George Carlin, I feel like out of anybody else, had the passion in the fire right up until he died. It just always seemed like he was excited about his new hour and all of that type of shit. Yeah, but I'm not going to lie to you. I literally felt like the guy that stayed back 3 times in high school. That's what happens. That's, you know, you hang around long enough. Here's another one. If you hang around long enough, you get to hear your generation turn into old people, which I have, and fucking bitch about... This is what you do when you get old. You bitch about everything that's happening now, and then you romanticize when you grew up. Like, the amount of people that I see when I, you know, because I'm always looking up videos from the 80s and all of that shit. And people are like, so I thank my lucky stars every day that I got to experience the 80s. I just feel so bad for the youth today that they didn't get to experience the 80s. And it's just like, the 80s weren't that great. All right? You were just young. That was the deal. You were young, you had no debt, you had no responsibilities, no children, none of that fucking shit. That's why the 80s were awesome for you. Now, while you were enjoying the 80s, there was a bunch of other people, their neighborhoods were getting taken over by crack. There was the crack 80s. New York City had gone bankrupt. The Rust Belt was rusting out. I mean, it was a bunch of horrible shit. We were in an unbelievable economic depression, but none of that affected you because you were like 12, 13, 14, and you were watching that. So all of these young kids today who see fucking old people from my generation shitting on them, just know your generation's going to do the same thing. You guys are going to be bitching in the future, being like, this isn't rap. I can understand what the MC is saying. So that's kind of what I found. So the trick is, I've kind of failed miserably when it comes to sports. The trick is to maintain that perspective and understand that every generation, whatever decade you're in, that's their 80s, or whatever, the 60s, whatever, the 70s, whatever fucking decade. The 90s is another one. Oh, weren't the 90s the best? The fucking 90s were the best. Oh, really? Were they the best? When Clinton signed that fucking, whatever the fuck he signed that finally fully deregulated the banks, that caused the 2008 collapse, which causes us now every August to be like, is this the year our economy collapses? I oversimplified that. And also, you know, when you fight a fucking 20-something-year war with no fucking clear goal or end in sight, that'll do it too, right? Oh, look at that, a blue tie and a red tie. Send us right to the fucking drink. Well, what are the odds of that? It's almost like they're serving the same master. Holy shit. So, anyway, I've been, so I think the ideal way to be an old person is to be old. Steer into being an old man, you know? Get yourself some sweaters, some button-up sweaters, you know? Some sort of Bob Hope hat for the sun so you don't get old age spots. And get your AARP card. Find a good diner. You know, keep reading the newspaper. You know, all that old man shit, while simultaneously rooting for young people, giving them advice if they ask for it, and then just enjoying sitting back observing, like, look at them right now. They're in their 80s right now. Do they realize it? Because if you don't do that, you end up at the back of the comedy store going like, oh my God, where did everybody go? Speaking of people going somewhere, the great Joe Rogan, as we all know, relocated to Texas a few years ago, and guess what? I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I don't know if this has been released yet, but he has a certain something that he was going to open up out there, and he sent me a video, so I'm very excited about that. It rhymes with Ramadi Love. I'm sure he did, because somebody else goes, hey, did you see that video? Whatever, he's opening a comedy club out there. And it looks like it's about ready to open. Comedy mothership, and I am very excited for him and stand-up comedy in general. I'll tell you, you wouldn't know it from my fucking melancholy vibes here, is I actually had, the last 2 nights I went down to the store, I had a fucking killer set. I got all this new shit that I've been trying out, and it's sort of the perfect level of saying something, being silly, making fun of myself, and then also trashing both sides. I'm kind of liking where it's at, and which makes me excited because I go back out on the road. In April. Old Billy's getting back in the saddle. You know, I got my 3-month retirement from the road, which I only 2/3 of the way through thoroughly fucking enjoyed. And I'll tell you, I'm enjoying it so much, I'm actually thinking of waiving at least the coffee portion the first 10 days of the month where I just detox. I'm considering waiving the coffee thing just so I can fucking enjoy every day this month. But I'm not going to do that, because then it's like, okay, I can have some coffee and an occasional cigar. I'm not doing that. So what I do love is when I don't drink coffee is the old man nap comes back. Now, I know it's considered an old man nap, but when you're in your 20s, you're going to feel the need. You're going to start feeling the need to take a nap. Don't fight it. It doesn't mean you're getting old. It means you're listening to your body, and your body's saying you're tired, and it's great for your brain. And evidently, new studies have shown, one of my favorite expressions in the English language, new studies have shown, a new study just showed that Jesus was actually left-handed. And it's like, what in the fuck information did you get? You know, that somehow everybody else missed over the last 2,000 fucking, what's 32 minus, 23 minus 32? 23, 7, 8, 9, over the last fucking 1,991 years. What the fuck information you just found? New studies show that if you take naps and stuff like that, get 8 hours sleep and all that, it's a good way to help stave off dementia. And it's the other one you get, and amnesia, dementia, and Alzheimer's. I don't know what the difference the two is, but I'm not going to Google search them because my health insurance will go up just by doing the search. They're just going to be like, oh, this guy thinks he's forgetting things. So anyway, what else did I want to talk about? Did I write anything down here? I usually have a little set list of shit that I want to talk about. I am really excited that MotoGP is coming back, and it's looking like I'm going to be going to that race, which I am fucking beyond excited about. Boston Bruins still winning. They're having the greatest season in the franchise history, and I've probably seen 5 games. I have paid attention to them, looking at the box scores. I saw our goalie, I don't even know his fucking name, a 2-1 game with Vancouver pulling the goalie. Everybody in his end, he collects the puck and shoots a fucking, I don't know, 120-foot wrister, however long the fucking ice is, to ice the game. And Jack Edwards predictably lost his fucking mind. I gotta start watching that shit because I'm gonna go on the road. You know something? When your team plays this well in the regular season, like when you're excited to a point, and then you kind of like, all right, guys, you know the playoffs are coming. You know, there's like this pressure because then everybody else is jealous that your team's playing so well. And they're like, yeah, but what if they don't win all of it, huh? Then what? And then you literally start getting like fucking like anxious. What if they don't win it all? Like, what's gonna happen? Reality is nothing. But I'm trying to think of some of the teams that won. A couple of those Indianapolis Colts teams in the 2000s going like fucking 15-1, 13, 13-3, 14-2, and then losing like back-to-back years to the 9-7 Chargers at home. Seattle Mariners, that year they won over 120 games. The 1983 Boston Bruins win the President's Trophy. First year I went to a game, and I went to the playoffs, and the first round was best 3 out of 5, and I went to game 1 of the series. We played the Canadians, and we lost game 1, and they fucking swept us. Pete Peters had won the President's Trophy. I mean, that year was such a shit. But then, you know something, though? We fucking... we would go up against those Islander teams, and they were in the middle of their run. It's not like we were going to beat them. You had to have a team as good as the fucking Edmonton Oilers. And it took Edmonton 2 tries. They lost in 84 and then came back. No, I'm sorry. They lost it in 83 and then came back in 84. Yeah, you know what? I don't think we would have got past the Islanders even having that. They were just such a fucking machine. They were a fucking machine. But it would have been nice to not get swept by the Canadians. However, though, that made finally beating them in the playoffs way better. And we pretty much, I don't know, they're not a factor anymore. There's no more curse or anything, and like when we play them in the playoffs, I expect to beat them because I feel like we usually do now, which is something I never thought I would say. There's a bunch of French fries there getting all fucking upset up there in Montreal. Let me do some of the advertising reads here for the week. Jesus Christ, where the hell is everybody? Confirm MacBook password. All right, there we go. Oh, look who it is, everybody. It's old Zip. ZipRecruiter. How can you break through the clutter and attract the most qualified candidates for your business? That's Zip. Recruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. How does help you stand out to the right candidates? Well, ZipRecruiter's technology sends you great candidates for your job, and you can send a personal invite to your top choices to make an impact. ZipRecruiter also makes it easy for candidates to apply to your job instead of filling out lengthy applications. They can apply in just one click. I don't want to fill out stuff. To help your job catch the eye of great candidates, they also offer attention-grabbing labels like urgent, training provided, remote, and more. I love the youth today. They're amazing. They don't want to fill out shit, and they don't want to go to work. Can I just stay at home and not fill out stuff, and then you pay me? I mean, talk about a generation that gets it. Get your job noticed by the best and brightest candidates at ZipRecruiter.
Okay, get out.
Going through the gears there. See for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Burr. Spell out Burr. BURR. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. Hey man, can I go to work without going to work, man? I think it's great. And he can fucking stay home. And he could be like David Letterman back in the day where he wore half a suit and on the bottom he just had comfortable clothes on with sneakers. Yeah, you can fucking do that. You can stay home. You can, be there for your kids. Put down the mess. I said put it down. Hang on a second. I got a fucking Zoom meeting. No, I wasn't cursing at you. I was cursing at my son. Well, I'd rather not get into it. No, I won't turn my laptop around. That's a violation of... Yes, I would like to still work here, but not really ever come into the office. Okay, here's the layout of my house. Oh, man, I got into it with my... I didn't want to talk about this fucking... I'm not going to talk about it. I went to a fucking event, and they had this COVID thing, and you had to sign a release and all of this fucking shit because they were filming some stuff. So I do what I always do whenever I sign a release. I just write Rich Voss. I wrote all of this shit, but these motherfuckers made me hold the paper up and take a picture with it. Like I was going into some sort of fucking work camp. See, I did not handle that well. And I had a little bit of Tourette's in that moment. Muttering under my breath and all of that shit. I don't know why. I should have just said that, and then I could have walked away, but I didn't. I'll know to do that again in the future. Then what's funny was I walked into the event and nobody checked to see if you had gotten your COVID test. Other than that, it was a well-run event. All right. Policy genius. If you have a family like I do, you know how much your loved ones depend on you. In a worst-case scenario, you wouldn't want them to worry about money. A good life insurance plan can give you peace of mind that if something happens to you, your family will have a safety net to cover mortgage payments, college costs, or other expenses so they can get back on their feet and focus on what's important. Already have coverage through work? No problem. Employer-sponsored life insurance may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it won't follow you if you leave your job. Now is a great time to take the lead to future-proof your family's finances by getting life insurance. And Policy Genius gives you a smarter way to find and buy it. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $39 per month for $2 million in coverage. $39 for $2 million worth of coverage? Jesus Christ, I bet you have to be built like Johnny Weissmiller. Now there's a reference. There is an old man reference. Johnny Weissmiller was, I believe, the original guy that played Tarzan. I want to say he was an Olympic swimmer. As some options offer coverage in as little as a week and avoid unnecessary medical exams, Policy Genius has licensed agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. Sorry, need a drink of water. The heat in my goddamn house. It's either on or it's off. So it's either drying out my goddamn throat or I'm freezing my ass off here. Policy Genius has licensed agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the insurance companies. That means they don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another unless they have a side deal. So you can trust their guidance. There's no added fees and your personal details are private. No wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. policygenius.com. All right. Well, that makes sense. God knows millennials were too afraid to leave the house. Shit. I saw this awful thing where this fucking old broad was going like, yeah, I'm a Gen Xer, man. Like, if you wonder why we're loners, we do this and da-da-da, we're so fucking badass, it's because we didn't have parents around. It's like, will you shut the fuck up? Why are you trying to make us out like we won? We didn't win a war. We didn't do anything. What are you talking? Well, maybe the Gulf War. Was that really a war? It was more like a mini-series. The first one. The Star Wars, before the Empire Strikes Back, and now I think we're into the Return of the Jedi portion of this exercise over there. Yeah. Like, I remember I just started cringing when I was watching this, just going like, who are you making this for? For other morons in your generation that are going to be like, yeah, our music was the best, our stuff was the, like, what are you doing? And once again, for all you young people, if you don't think that there's going to be someone from your generation talking about the 20s or whatever, the Twizzles, whatever the fucking little fucking slangy way you're going to say your fucking decade, there's going to be somebody doing it. I got to find that video. I so want to, as a Gen Xer, I don't condone this message. Get out of your ego. You're fucking old. Let young people have a good time. Stop fucking bitching about them and then exaggerating what the fuck we did. Okay, what did we do? We had mullets and we drank beer.